Now, the word of the Lord came to me about 3 different countries. So, let me start with South Africa. I remember when I got opportunity to be hosted on Charisma Live last year. One of the sessions, the Lord told me, and I gave that word of prophecy, that the COVID-19 cases is going to increase in South Africa. And the last time I was watching news and I heard that your cases is rising there. Now, another word of the Lord have come to me concerning you, South Africa, the nation South Africa. And the Lord has given the way out for you. Now, yes, across the world, nations are experiencing the COVID-19. But as South Africa is concerned, your case is different. Now, the phase you are experiencing now as the COVID-19 case is concerned, the enemy is going to try to use it against you in a different way. And that is what God had revealed to me. The enemy is going to take advantage over this COVID-19 to attack your agric sector. That means your agriculture sector. So you need to be very watchful. Your government should put measures in place in order to protect your agriculture sector. Because during this second phase of COVID-19 you are experiencing, the enemy is going to take advantage and is going to affect your farming areas. So your cities that are engaged in farming, the cases are going to increase there. So for that matter, they will not be able to do farming as they used to. And that is going to affect your farming, your farms. So take notice of that. South Africa, your agric sector. During this season of COVID-19, the enemy will try to take advantage of that to attack your agric sector. So be mindful of that. Your government should do everything possible to put measures in place in order to curb the situation. Number 2, still on South Africa. Now, about the youth of South Africa. I saw 2 things about the youth. Now, 2 things were being projected. Number 1 is a positive thing. I saw a group of young South Africans innovating things. They were bringing inventions of things. So God endowed them with some skill, and they were bringing all kinds of innovations. You know, they were inventing all kinds of things. Then suddenly I saw another thing. It's like a dark cloud that was coming upon some of the session of the youth. Some session of the youth. So let the youth be very mindful. I pray for you that God will make you rather partake in the blessing instead of the attack that is going to come. So that is about South Africa. Now you ask the question, what is the way out in dealing with the COVID-19 case? This is the way out the Lord revealed to me. Well, I don't know whether South Africa is a Christian nation or not. But that is just by the way. What the Lord showed me that you can do. I saw a group of men of God. A group of men of God that came together. And they were praying for the nation. So South Africa, you see, your cases will cease or reduce When men of God, church, I'm not talking about church praying. You know, I know churches pray. That's not what we are talking about. I'm talking about the way out. What the Lord revealed to me. So, the men of God of South Africa, if they can come together to organize a national prayer, your case will reduce. Because I saw the case flying out of a very high wall. And it was chased by a power. And that was the power of prayer. So if the men of God in South Africa, you can organize a national prayer. Oh Jesus, the case of COVID-19 will leave you. So that is about South Africa. Now let's go to the nation Nigeria. The nation Nigeria. Now, this is what about to happen in Nigeria. In 2021, within the first quarter, there's going to be a rising of these Islamic militants. There's going to be more kidnapping of children. There's going to be more kidnapping of children. So, the security of Nigeria is going to be a big test for you. A very big test for you. The kidnap cases are not yet over. They are not yet over. So, Nigeria, that is about Nigeria. In 2021, these Islamic militant groups will still make the effort of trying to kidnap young men and women. So, let the security of Nigeria mop up their game. Let the military mop up their game. Let the police mop up their games. And they are going to target more of the remote areas. They are going to target more of the remote areas. So be mindful of that. Nigeria. And now things, it is going to happen so much in a way that it's going to even make the government unpopular. Because the people will begin to agitate against the government that you are not protecting them the way you are to protect them. So the nation Nigeria, that is about your security, please. Strengthen your security, because these Islamic militant groups are going to rise more this year, 2020. And they are going to do more kidnapping. They are going to do more kidnapping. Now, I'm coming to my country, Ghana. Ghana. You see, until God open your eyes to see things in his eyes or in his plans, when things are happening, we will take it wrongly. I'm talking about Ghana. We recently had an election, and we all know what is going on. Now, when the word of the Lord came to me, it was very interesting. Let me say this first one out of the way, then I gave you the second one, which has a more detailed explanation. Now, the first one is this. The youth of Ghana, there is hope for you. There is hope for you. Now, I saw that most of the youth are prospering. Then I saw this youth in a green ground, like a farm area. So I asked the Lord, what does this mean? And the Lord said, the future or the prosperity of the youth of Ghana in the next 4 years, if they will enter into agric, they will do well. So the youth of Ghana, if we can enter into agriculture, farming, your life will never be the same. So this year and on, the key for the prosperity of the life of the youth of Ghana lies in agric. Lies in agriculture. Lies in agriculture. So the youth of Ghana, rise up and enter into agric, farming. You see the wealth that will come your way. Number two. Now this goes to the whole nation. The whole nation. I also saw about the nation Ghana. This second thing. That I saw the nation amassing more wealth. And the wealth was not coming from petroleum product or crude or gold or our mineral resources. Our wealth was also coming out of agric. So, if the nation will invest more in agriculture, I'm talking about Ghana. This is the revelation God gave me about our nation, Ghana. If the nation will invest more in agric, we'll be surprised what will happen, because this year and on, agric will be the basket that will bring us good things. So the nation, the government can do well and do more in terms of agric, it will help us, because it's one of the ways that this nation is going to prosper. This nation is going to prosper. That is the second thing about Ghana. So I'm taking you to the third one, which now need more details. All right. That is the prophetic terrain of season of Ghana. In most of my broadcasts before the elections, even the time of COVID-19, I did mention to you that God made a covenant with Ghana. And the covenant seal was the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service that was introduced by the President Mills, and that it was being held every quarter. In the original plan of God, the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service is supposed to be held by the nation, not churches. The nation is to hold it and churches will support it. That was what was in the document that was handed over to the President Mills. Now, in 2008, when the document about the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service was handed over to Mills, these are some of the details, which reveals the prophetic season of Ghana. And that is what is going to drive the nation Ghana in the next 4 years. So, all the things that are happening concerning our elections and all that is happening, I sit behind and I look at it. People think that it's just an act. No. It is because from 2008, God had a 16 years development plan for Ghana. And that documentation or that information was given to our late President Mills. May he so rest in perfect peace. In that document, you ask the question, how do I know about it? It was because it was me, my ministry, that handed over that document to President Mills. That time he was not a president. That was the time that he was a candidate. In fact, that was what led him to win the election. That was what changed the whole thing in the atmosphere of power in the realm of the spirit for him to win the presidency, because he vowed to God to adhere to all the instructions of God as the 16-year plan of God for the nation is concerned. So that 16 years, God deal the 8 years through Mills, and to John Dramani Mahama, our former president. Now, the other 8 years, I'm talking about the prophetic terrain of Ghana, because it is that which is going to control our nation, and we need to understand it. Now, listen to me. Now we have done 12 years of the 16 years. It's left with 4 years. So 2021 to 2024. This is the last season of the plan of God concerning our nation Ghana, as its prophetic utterance about our country is concerned. If we walk within these prophetic instructions of God, the nation will do well. That is why the Lord told me to announce it to you again, Ghana. So let our president hear, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, that God had a covenant with this nation. It is within this covenant that you got the chance to become a president. Because God programmed it that the 8 years, the ending 8 years of the 16 years, you are to fulfill it. Now, these are some of the details. In the covenant of God, he mentioned the following: that if the nation will adhere to the holding of the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service, which is supposed to be held every 3 months, every quarter, these are the blessings that will come upon us. And we are in the last season of this prophetic utterance of God. The last 4 years for this full picture of God's divine prophecy about our nation Ghana should be fulfilled. That is why we should not take things for granted. As things are going on about our nation and the things that are unfolding as the elections issues, the issues that we should not take it for granted. Because listen, it's about our destiny, the destiny of this nation. And it is because this last 4 years is the last strategic prophetic plan of God to fulfill his plan concerning the nation. So the enemy also knows, the devil knows. So he's doing everything possible to create a hindrance so that this plan of God will not come to pass. Now let me tell you what the plan was since 2008. And this last 4 years, that God must crown it. And if Ghana will experience the crowning of the blessings of God from 2021 as we have entered, when we adhere to these instructions of God, our nation will never be the same. So listen to the promises of God concerning his 60-year development plan, which we have the 4 years left for things to be accomplished. This is what the Lord said. Number one, the Lord said, if we adhere to the covenant seal, which I'll mention to you at the end of these points, that is, if we allow God to establish fellowship with our nation, we are not talking about churches in Ghana, no. We are talking about the nation itself. If you allow God to establish fellowship with us, number two, that God said, he said, when we do or follow this covenant seal, he will grant our leaders divine ability, that is, wisdom and knowledge, for them to manage our resources well. God will give our leaders divine wisdom and knowledge so that they can manage our resources well. You know what is going on already, so I don't need to go into that. But this is the divine plan of God concerning our nation since 2008. 16 years. We have the 4 years left. The third thing God said was, he will divinely direct our presidents in the right path so that they will do. Let me pick it again. He said he will divinely direct our presidency in going in the right path as economic and the nation building is concerned. Economic and nation building is concerned. So God is going to direct our leaders, our presidency, in order for them to manage our economy well and to build our nation better. The next thing the Lord said, he said he will give our leaders wisdom for excellent decision for productivity. So God is going to give our leaders spiritual insight of excellent ideas so that our nation will do better, will be more productive. The next thing the Lord said is this. He said he will be the source of our safety and security. Then the next one, he said, peace, unity, love will bind our nation together. The last but not the least, he said, as the citizens of the nation is concerned, we are going to walk in divine prosperity. Hallelujah. We are going to walk in divine prosperity. The Lord said, in any little effort that we will make, it will yield fruitfulness. Then now God said, this is the covenant seal. This is what we are to do in order to experience all these things. That is the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service. This service has been relegated by Kanye Way. Some past administrations mistakenly apply the plan of God, hand over to churches, and by that it died. But in the original plan of God, this service is to be held by the nation, not churches. The nation will hold it, then churches will support the nation. So, in these last 4 years, as the prophetic mandate of God over Ghana, we need to experience these blessings. My fellow citizens, we need to be happy that the little effort will make you prosper. I want to prosper. I want to prosper. Let our leaders hear this. Our nation will do so well. When we reenact, we bring back the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service.